ROADCRAFT is the latest in these sort of rugged vehicular simulators from Saber Interactive, and those are the team behind the SnowRunner series. They recently did the Expeditions game that I was hanging out to play and enjoy, which I fell off a little bit. This game continues that same move away from the hardcore 4x4 navigation that was SnowRunner and MudRunner, and into a more sort of I guess like it moves into the management side of things and some of that sort of mundane work that you have to do to repair and maintain areas of roads that are hit by natural disasters. That's the big hook with this one. You are in these disaster zones and all the roads and areas need repair. So you have to basically scout out points of interest. You need to clear them of debris. You need to collect resources, and ultimately you're repairing like pathways between points of interest to complete the company's objectives. So you are very much pulling out into an overmap and managing this whole area and making sure it's back up to scratch and it can, you know, become a functioning area with a big company that you're running over the top of it. You basically can jump out to this map and you can hot swap between vehicles from like a pickup to a digger to a roller, and then you can manage that fleet of vehicles that you are driving and you're in control of. But also, for the first time, the game lets you plot out routes for AI vehicles. So you can now set a whole little army of trucks moving around the map, delivering resources and basically doing the work for you. You can automate the whole thing. I think this is the best thing about this game. This is a really smart move. It not only adds much needed kind of life to the maps and the world, which we haven't seen before in these series, but they make the road repair actually feel like it is necessary. So you can get to see your actual hard work pay off when these little trucks drive over it and use these pathways that you've been fixing and repairing, instead of it just being like an objective that's like, cool, you fixed a road, someone's going to use that in the future. It's like, you know, you physically have to map an AI truck and you have to watch it drive across there and make sure it doesn't drive off to the side or get bogged. You actually have to fix this area for them. And I feel like in that, it's kind of like there's some parallels to things like Death Stranding, like in that real slow, methodical fixing of an area that you can have completely repaired or healed for trucks to come along. And it just there's nothing more satisfying than watching AI trucks drive along your newly made road. It's very satisfying. 3 things. No, you can't. Not until you've done this, Peter. I will not believe you. I think that said, one thing that is kind of frustrating is when things do go wrong in this game, considering how slow and long it takes to do everything. So when things don't go right, and this happened multiple times, and some of it was because of me, and some of it was because of the game itself. So they were both equally as frustrating. So things like cracking it at the like nature of the controls and the intricacy of the controls. Every vehicle you have has multiple inputs and button mappings, and there's just only so much your brain can take in. And so that, along with the UI design, can occasionally just be a really frustrating element. That's almost unavoidable when you have this many vehicles and this many kind of like different tools that can, you know, lift things up, turn left and right. There's like 7 points of articulation for different vehicles and stuff. So unless you're sitting behind the actual controls of it, this is the best they can do with it, but that can feel a little frustrating. And so if you're not like 100% focusing on your job at the time, which I found myself doing quite often, you can quickly derail from a... oh no.
Are you okay?
You can kind of derail things from like a simulation into just like a wacky physics sort of play sort of sandbox. Like things can very quickly get out of hand and feel a bit silly, and you can just be like, I need to reset and actually just do this one step at a time. The other issue, because that isn't exactly the game's fault, that's my fault. That's me not being able to drive a dozer correctly. But what is the game's fault is that aforementioned AI that is in there. It is capable, and I think part of it is meant to be a bit derpy because you need to be in control of it. But I did see the AI wig out multiple times, and when I'd pathed or planned a direct route, it kind of wigged out and tried to do a 16-point turn on the road for no reason, and I couldn't tell why, because checking the map, it was fine. A lot of reviews are saying a similar kind of thing. It's like, I think they've tried to strike a balance where the AI is not super capable, because that would make your efforts kind of pointless. So,
and sometimes people who's be driving are dumb.
That's it. The AI trucks are a bit dumb, and that's kind of what you are there to fix. They do feel like Lemmings in Lorries kind of thing. Like, they are just there to take the fastest route possible, and they will drive themselves off cliffs, into rocks, into puddles, get bogged regularly. When they get bogged, they reset, and it's your job to then go, okay, back to the drawing board. How do I fix this section? So it's not really like, yeah, when they do get bogged occasionally, it wasn't a like, oh, I messed that up. It's more like, oh, the game is wigging out kind of thing. And yeah, so outside of that, I think the AI is a really good addition. And again, the move towards a management game and a like repair game is the best step this game or the series could have taken, because I was getting quite bored of those other games. Expedition in particular, I found really was just drive from point A to B and scan areas. This has a complete living world that you're rebuilding, you're seeing the fruits of your labor pay off, and I genuinely think this is probably the best in the series, even though it's getting mixed reviews.
Cool.
There are a lot of diehards out there who are like, there isn't the fuel economy, there isn't the damage system, there isn't the punishing brutality of getting bogged and having to get yourself out, because they're focused more on the game management side of things.
Like, that's video game.
Totally.
Right? Yeah.
This is like unnecessary, but you go to an area to pick up a generator, and there's a little puzzle when you get there, and I'm like, that's so much more fun than just
gamey.
I need to plant my
Park
best
the car.
course of action through a bunch of boulders.
I can understand why it would frustrate people who are fans of a series that was about really serious simulation, and then they've diverted away from that. But there's no reason they can't have games in the series that are doing one thing, like, Forza Motorsport and Forza Horizon, right?
Especially
Yeah.
since this is ROADCRAFT, it's not a blank runner game.
I think I think it's ROADCRAFT. Like, I don't even think it has the byline of a mud runner game, but it
doesn't.
It
It's
doesn't,
just
but
ROADCRAFT.
it is using the same engine. It is using literally the same engines, the same physics, the same UI. I think,
I think it just gives them the freedom to kind of explore what else they can do.
It's a tool set, and they've developed on it, and I think they've created something that is distinctly different, and I really enjoy it, because again, Expeditions was the one that was set in like more of a Nevada desert area, and it was touting itself as this game that had like drones and camping gear, and you'd like do off-road navigating. It was turned out objectively to be, the objectives in it, subjectively, were very boring. They were just getting from A to B. Oh, you ran out of fuel. Go get your other truck with another one. They've streamlined a lot of stuff here, particularly in the menus, the hot swapping from vehicles, stuff that has always been an issue with this series for me. It's been a very clunky kind of way of navigating or managing your fleet, because at no point can you get out of a vehicle. It is always, I have to do everything on 4 wheels, so
you've got a map that has a fog of war. You start connecting parts of the industry that you work in. Do you then get materials? Like, is it a lumber mill, and then suddenly you've got a surplus of lumber, and you can start investing in building log cabins? So, like,
there's probably no.
What's the progression? Like, are you in the Timber Age, and then you're in the Iron Age, and then you're?
It's not quite that. Like, the materials are a big part of it. The resources you can see in the top right here do play a part. So when you do start connecting things like a foundry to your head base, those automated AI trucks will start running a route back and forth and giving you those resources to build other sections. There's not so much freedom here as like a sandbox game to just develop what you want. It is really more of a like, follow these main missions and follow these objectives. It's never like, hey, what do you want to do? It is distinctly mission-based the whole way through, I believe. So you will need those resources to complete the story. It's not a question of like, there's optional side missions that will help you, I think, do things faster. And at some point you do actually have to drive around and find scrap metal to recycle to use as resources. Okay. So, yeah.
But it's pretty linear in its progression.
Very much
You're
so,
not getting to go. You can see where the road has to go. You just need to fix the road, as opposed to going like, I'm going to build a road through this mountain.
I think I did watch a review of a guy who played like 80 hours of this or something, and was like, you definitely, if you manage the resources, you could create a bridge across this whole area and bypass a whole section of the game.
Okay, yeah.
So there are people, I'm sure, who have found ways around that, and knowing this series,
I can't wait to see speed runs of ROADCRAFT.
there are people in a game where you can leave the handbrake on accidentally. Yeah, I don't think that's happening soon.
Well, I know that it's got Thrustmaster capabilities.
Yeah, that was his nickname in high school.
Yuck.
Capabilities.
Yeah, capabilities.
not
You
yeah.
know, okay.
So-
But
Damn.
you can use da wheel. So I'd be keen to see people stream it.
Apparently, it's buggy as.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That makes it even better.
Again,
like
most-
driving a car,
Well,
buggy as.
Josh, if you do me one favor and fast forward almost to the end, where you'll see there's less to do with actually driving, and more if you even scrub this clip here, more to do with the physics of these kind of like, oh yeah, back there you go.
Rolled it.
These kind of crane game levels of control, because you need to do everything. You need to move the pallets into the truck and tie them down before you leave without flipping things by putting the anchors down. Again, that's what people love about this series. I really like it. There's definitely a tipping point, pun intended, where I go, all right, this is just frustrating versus methodical kind of steps. So, yeah.
The frustration, like, out.
Yeah, I think
fun.
you got to be in the
Yeah.
right headspace to enjoy this game. I was talking, Mackenzie and I were playing it earlier today, and she couldn't leave. She had to watch the road get fully asphalted. She's like, "Oh, this is pretty satisfying, actually."
Mackenzie, were you just humoring him?
She couldn't leave because he wouldn't let her leave.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
She had to see it get finished, all right? But yeah, I think put a podcast.
She's nodding.
Put a podcast in and like play this over a long lazy Sunday, and there's
Or,
some
you
real
know, streamers, people shouting out, this is a very Lemmy game. This is a very Nat game. Nat, I'm sure
Totally,
you're going to go home and
totally.
stream this thing ASAP.
I have no idea. I'm just reading everyone saying that I can't drive.
Rude.
Also, thank you, Jalon, for the raid.
Oh,
I
thank
really
you.
Yeah,
appreciate
thank you,
it.
Jalon.
Thank you. Shout out, Jalon.
And the
Shut up.
final thing I'll say that plays into the weather we're currently having is I love the weather system in this. I love that these storms roll in and you see the damage. You see trees flattened after it's come through and you need to repair it all. It feels dynamic. The last game didn't have enough.
You can almost hear the rain.
Seriously, the last game didn't have enough rain and mud. It was a really dry desert game, which was quite boring. This mud physics are back in the best way
Mud's
possible.
back.
Mud's back, baby.
Mud's back in a
Nice.
sloppy way.
Everyone was like, we left mud in 2022, but no,
Oh,
it's
it's back.
back, baby.
It's back. 2025 year of the mud.
2025 year of the mud.
It's a good game. It's good mud. That's ROADCRAFT.